Like Pitt's white helmets?
Yeah.
Yeah, did you see? I just sent it in the chat, but they obviously it's like no shock they have the blue helmets. Most notably, they did not have the gray uniforms, which I don't know if that's a sly way of them saying we're not wearing these anymore. The Steel Panther, Steel City jerseys.
I mean, they haven't
Oh, man.
forever.
Yeah, really.
Dang it. It's like the worst uniforms of all time, but
Oh,
I had
yeah.
I had a thought the other day. I think if you because the helmets were like really light gray, but the uniforms were dark gray. If you made the uniforms match the gray of the helmets, I think they look a lot better. And I think that's why they look really dumb. Is that the two grays don't match?
I like them.
you like those
Hot
jerseys?
take.
Yeah, I always liked those. I don't know why people hated them so much. I think if we wore them at night, they'd be sick, but we wore them too like day game.
I agree with that they should be worn at night, but also the last time we saw those jerseys, we got turned into a fucking fine red mist by Notre Dame. So you kind of just got to put those in the closet for a while.
Notre Dame's good, not because of the jersey.
We won.
I'm going to blame it on the jerseys.
I
I think we have better alternates that we can wear.
As somebody who hates Nike alternates right now at the current moment, I can't argue it. So it's fine.
I think, yeah, I mean, the best alternates would be the 2017 throwbacks, the fucking block letters, all that good shit. But I'm going to say a lot of people want those back. I don't think they're coming back for another like 5 years because they just went to like the current ones. So saying hold your horses on those.
Heather Lake was like pretty clear that they were just not giving that.
Good. They should really, if they're going to do that, they should wait like 20 years.
Yeah.
First down, goes to the sidelines, has a man wide open. It's tipped. MJ Derbyshire got face. He's going to take it to the end zone. Pittsburgh takes the lead.
He loves those moments. It reminds me of last year in the Garden against St. John's. And guys just stepped up. Blake hits a what the hell three. You know, we're like, what are you doing? And he's done that all year.
Klicka out to Bizzario. It's over. The Pitt Panthers have upset Wisconsin. Anybody if he hits his field goal. Up and got it. Sauls does it again.
Welcome back to Simplify Podcast. It's been a while. My name is Zach Kaminsky, your host. I'm joined by my two co-hosts, Mason Kling and Kent Vanderwood, soon to be neighbors. How you feeling?
Neighborly. No, feeling good. I feel like I literally haven't talked Pitt in so long that I might just have some fire takes as I like relapse into podcasting tonight. So I'm ready.
So you know, people say they quit stuff cold turkey. We're going back into podcasting hot turkey.
I like that. That's just a funny way to say a bender, I guess, kind of.
All right, Kent, our hot turkey. How you feeling?
It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood.
Hey, this is a Pittsburgh podcast, man. We should get more Mr. Rogers content in here.
Yeah, this ain't the city of brotherly love either. What? It's feeling like it. Well, yeah, we're good. It's been a minute, and a lot of off-season news to sort of get into today. So.
Yeah, we do have a big show because we just didn't record in April. That's our bad. Hand up, tap the chest. That's our fault.
It was an April Fool's joke. It was an April Fool's joke.
It was a really extended April Fool's joke. We thought that it was actually the whole month.
We're playing the long game, baby.
We're doing a new thing. No, let's jump right back into it. Basketball. Biggest news since we've been gone is that Bubs did officially declare for the NBA draft.
Hey, this is Zach in Post. I realize I said Bub means instead of Bub Carrington. My bad. Back to the show.
Yeah, can't say I blame him. If I was in his shoes, I would have done the exact same thing. When you look at this NBA class, it just makes sense.
It feels like forever ago at this point, but yeah, I mean, happy for the guy. I think Pitt fans will be sad to not be able to watch him anymore in a Pitt uniform, but at the same time, be cool to see a first round draft pick come out of Pitt. Most mock drafts at this point are projecting him to be a first round pick, so that'll be cool. Hope to see him, get some decent minutes in the NBA one day.
Yeah, and I will say his whole press conference for him to announce going to the NBA, it feels like unlike say Justin Champagne's, which sort of leaked out at the last minute. It feels like the whole team was behind him. Jeff Capel was certainly behind him, saying that he's ready for the NBA draft. It's not like Capel wanted him back. I think that Capel was confident enough to say, "Hey, you're a first-round guy. Go get your money." And it's not like the program is in a bad place after he left. We'll get to that in a second, but it doesn't feel like this is some sort of kneecapping blow to the Pitt program like the Champagne departure was after his years here.
Yeah, they went about it the right way. I thought it was a classy all around by Jeff Capel, kind of the way he handled things. And yeah, happy for the guy. And I mean, as a Pitt fan, it is good what we have coming in to sort of replace that sort of production that is leaving to go to the NBA with Carrington. We can talk about that a little bit, or we've talked about that plenty on our Twitter account. But
well, I have a Bub Carrington question for you guys, since I feel like neither one of you have a really true NBA team. What would be the ideal landing spot for you guys to see Bub in the league?
Timberwolves.
I like him and Ant would be a crazy combo. That would be awesome. They're so fun right
there. Conley's. I think I saw a few things. That was probably the one where I was I actually like that fit. Obviously, the T-Wolves are all the rage right now, up 2-0 on the Nuggets. But
do you know how hard a Bub Carrington T-Wolves jersey would go at the Darties in Pitt? I know we're a little old for that now, but goddamn, that would be tough.
I'll just rock it at the bars.
I'd definitely get one. I will say, speaking of the Timberwolves, RIP the Timberwolves Brazil account that posts all that wild ass shit on Twitter at the beginning of the year. Rest in power. You will be missed. I'd love to see him up in Minnesota, but I guess, I don't know. It would be cool to see him be a Brooklyn Net, only because I'm a casual Brooklyn fan. But in terms of I'd like to see him go to a good team and not a bad one. So that's where I'm at.
Yeah, I think there's probably a lot of people out there too that want him on the Wizards, just because that'd be kind of like a hometown. He's Baltimore, Maryland guy. That's the closest team we've got here, I guess. So selfishly, I want him on the Sixers, but
no.
Probably won't.
Sixers or Wizards, man.
I feel like that would be punishment. He'd be stuck in the first round of the playoffs in Philly, and then he would just be on the worst team in the league in Washington. You know what? Fuck, let's send him to San Antonio and let's see him play with Wemby. I think that could be fun.
That would be cool.
Him and Maxey are kind of similar in their style.
The Sixers are not going to take him, but I'm just, in a perfect world, when you're building your 2K all-star roster, I'd throw him a pick as my 15th man.
Right. All right. Next piece of news with the NBA, unless you have anything else to say about Bub Carrington.
Nope.
So Blake Hinson got the G League camp invite. By the way, Bub got the actual NBA draft camp invite, or whatever they call it, the combine, or I don't know. I don't really follow it, but I believe that if he does well enough at the G League camp, he can actually get an invite to the real deal NBA draft combine. If you guys know that.
I don't know what the rules are on that, but I would imagine if he's impressive enough at that, that would make sense to at least get a combine invite.
Wait, Bub Carrington didn't even get a combine invite?
No, Bub did.
Okay, I misheard you then. But Hinson did not.
Yes, Henson got the G League one.
Gotcha. I don't know. Feels like a little bit of a snub. I know he doesn't like build out as a NBA prospect, but like I don't know, man.
He's just older. That's
That's
the biggest knock at this point.
yeah. But
It's like
he's bet on himself before, and like the whole G League thing, like we know he's a dog. When he goes and shows he has that dog in him, he'll be fine. Somebody will take a flyer on him.
for sure. Like he's old, but also at that point you know what you're getting, and that's a dog, and 3, someone who can hit absolute nukes of 3-pointers. So just with that skill alone in the modern NBA, he's gonna get a look.
Yeah.
Now, moving on to the rest of the team and sort of where we stand. I think we've been over this a bunch of times, but confirmed that Jalen Lowe, Ish Leggett, the Twins, and Zach Austin are all back for next year, kind of solidifying this core. Fede and William Jeffress left in the portal after, I think Jeffress kind of got told, like, hey, you can find more playing time elsewhere with Conte coming back off an injury. Fede, I have no idea how he got he's going to Texas Tech, which that's going to be interesting for Texas Tech fans. They're going to learn real soon about his low ball handling skills. But in the transfer portal, we have Cam Corrin, a big from FSU, coming in, and Damian Dunn, a guard from Houston. Open up the floor to you guys. You got anything on these two?
Damian Dunn is good. He very solid player. Never really found his stride offensively with Houston, but that's just a very defensive team in general, defensive program minded. But that's a good get. I mean, they're both good gets. I think Cape will put in good work in the portal here once again. We got some good freshmen coming in as well, so I'm excited for next year. I think we're not done yet. We'll talk about this in a minute. We've missed on a couple guys that had us in their final 3 or so. But I would like to maybe add one more piece if we can. So we'll there's pieces out there to get, Jeff. Keep it up.
Yeah, and I love getting Cam from FSU too. Strictly because he gave us the business when he played against us. So that's the best oh, he's good, like let's go get him kind of thing, just because he played well against us. But I do think he gives us a little bit more. He's not like a true like 7-footer like Fede, but he's going to play just as big.
Yeah. I don't think he plays bigger than Fede. Like he was giving Fede the work when he played against him, even though I think Corrin is an inch shorter, but he plays more like a natural center. And I think the biggest part about getting Corrin is that it frees up the Twins to move to the 4, play their natural position, so they're not being overmatched down low. And I think that opens up a lot of stuff for the team moving forward, especially with Lowe. Like he's now the man running this team, running this offense. And Lowe is really fucking good at driving to the basket. I think it's one of his more underrated skills. And I'm excited to see how all these puzzle pieces fit together with Corrin down low. You've got Ish and Zach sort of supporting Jalen. You've got the Twins who can, both play inside and out. I think probably the last target they want to go for is another guard, a 3-point guy. What do you guys think?
That's the biggest. I mean, when you look at production standpoint, that's kind of the biggest thing you see with Hinson gone. And I don't think we're ever going to be able to find a guy that truly replaces that. But I'm not sure what the final number with scholarships we have left is, but definitely want to go target there with what we've got already.
Yeah. Cam certainly helps with rebounding. Obviously, I think one of our biggest frustrations last year was just, as you mentioned, just playing too soft down low, not really being able to box guys out as well and get rebounds. So I think Cam really helps out in that regard, and Papa Conte is obviously coming back as well. So I'm hopeful that everybody can stay healthy and those guys can be sort of the fix there and the answer for that this year. But I would agree. Just pure sniper would be a nice piece to pick up here.
I believe that we have 2 scholarships left open. Sorry, I had to go get water for a second, but yeah, it's not that the guys on this team can't shoot threes. Like, small sample size, the Twins can shoot the lights out if they're on. Jalen Lowe is not allergic to hitting a three. Ish and Zach can both, they're a bit more streaky, but they can shoot threes. It's weird in a sense that I think it would feel like a safety blanket if Capel tried to get sort of the Blake Hinson replacement instead of building the offense around more plays closer to the net, because you've got some real height between Korn and the Twins, and Zach Austin can fucking jump. So it's like I want it, but at the same time, I want Capel to actually advance the offense away from just, well, I hope we hit a fucking three.
Yeah, I agree with you, because at times, like even over the last couple of years when the team's been good, it is sort of frustrating sometimes just watching sort of how stagnant our offense gets and not a whole lot of movement. So I'm hopeful with different pieces that Capel makes those sort of adjustments. But ISO ball and just praying you hit threes at the end of the shot clock is not necessarily the best formula for success. So I wouldn't mind having a guy that's kind of there that can just sort of catch and shoot and hit some deep threes when you need him to. But I agree with you.
Yeah, it's not to say that I think hitting threes is a bad thing. I think it definitely helps open up the inside of the court for you guys down low. But again, I think I agree totally with what you said. I'll tell you who's not getting a scholarship. That would be Ado Thiero, who is going to Arkansas. I thought we were going to get him. Turns out that he followed the coach who got him to recruit at a high school, which I'm not too shocked about.
Yeah, Coach Cal has now made a pretty strong class there in Arkansas. So he follows Coach Cal all from Kentucky to Arkansas. Not a total shocker there. Coach Cal, obviously a very good recruiter. He knows the system. He knows, everything. So it's can't really blame a guy for following the same coach in a different place. And if coach was really recruiting him, that's tough to compete with if you're capable.
We never wanted him anyway.
Facts.
It was all a smoke screen so we could get them to overpay with NIL.
I like that spin zone. I like that. We're making them pay it down in Fayetteville. I don't know who the current portal targets are. I'd have to look it up, and I didn't do my research for the show, so blame me if you want. Last thing I got on basketball here is that we learned that Pitt is playing some random-ass team for their first game of the year. I'm sure we'll overreact to it the same way we do every first game of the year come the fall. But their tip-off tournament got announced. The 3 teams they're playing against are Wisconsin, UCF, and LSU, which sort of at face value looks like it should be one of those strong out-of-conference scheduling things that we want to do in the future, obviously with all the strength schedule metrics fucking us over for the tournament this year. But I want you guys to guess which team is going to fucking blow it down the stretch and hurt our SOS.
That's got LSU written all over it because I think Wisconsin will probably be pretty good. UCF, mid-major, like they're probably going to go and win some games in the Atlantic.
They're Big 12. They're Big 12 now.
Right. Fucking Jesus Christ. Yeah, so that's an even better argument for me because the committee has a huge hard-on for Big 12 teams. So they'll be, ranked in the top 20 all year. And then LSU, I could kind of see just fizzling out a little bit.
I totally agree. Because Wisconsin will be like 10-10 and somehow the number 14 Ken Palm team in the whole nation. Folks, we love the Big Ten, don't we?
We don't, but like, fuck, if that's what we're going to have to do to ride coattails to get a better Ken Palm, like, fine. We'll play you in November.
I mean, honestly, it's kind of funny. Like, Pitt football schedules how Pitt basketball should schedule and vice versa. Like, Pitt basketball schedules a bunch of cupcakes, and then Pitt football schedules like a bunch of actually good teams. So, like Wisconsin just has a series with UCF, another home and home. It's like, no, you should schedule the cupcakes and football so we can go fucking 10-2 now that the fucking 12-team playoff is here, not Notre Dame, Wisconsin, and West Virginia in the same year. That's a no good idea.
Yeah.
So, speaking of football, we got some boys drafted. And that was us. That was all us. We were totally their agents, their biggest hype men. I'm kidding. We had Matt Gonsalves go in the 3rd round to Indianapolis. We had Bub Means in the 5th round to the New Orleans Saints. And MJ Devonshire drafted in the 7th round to the Oakland Raiders. And with that, Oakland went from 2 Bubs to no Bubs.
Yeah. It was a mass exodus of Bubs.
We gotta get another Bub in town.
Calling all Bubs.
I'm gonna say that first long bomb from Spencer Rattler to Bub Means in the preseason is gonna hit like crack. I know it's coming. I'm calling my shot now.
All right, you heard it here first.
It's going to be a very niche, like in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and Columbia, South Carolina. That's going to be huge. But everywhere else, they're going to be like, all right, who the hell are these guys? No,
Yeah.
Spencer Rattler's got a good amount of buzz around his name, but
He's going up against Derek Carr. How could you not?
yeah.
Dude, and the Saints receiving core at this point is like not great.
What's like the ghost of Michael Thomas, Rashid
He's a
Shaheed,
free
and
agent, actually. He's an unrestricted free
What do you have
agent.
against Hunter Renfrow, Kent?
something tells me that they don't fill the same role him and Bub Means on a football team.
Nah.
So, and I'm sure, the Saints have at least one coach, if you listen to the draft call, that was with Bub at Louisiana Tech. So I think probably have some Louisiana Tech people in the building in New Orleans. So might help them a little bit get some better looks. So
Let's see. Let's look up the Saints depth chart. We're gonna do some little live reading here. Oh, they have Chris Olave. How did I forget about that one?
yeah, but outside of him, it's like they don't have Michael Thomas anymore because they have Hunter Renfrow.
No, I don't even know why I said that. I was thinking Raiders in my head, even though we were fully talking Saints. That's on me, guys.
Since when?
That's on me.
Yeah.
I just, as I was listening to you guys talk, I was like, wait, why did I say Hunter Renfrow? I don't know what clicked wrong in my brain right there, but
Well, I know what it was because I talked about MJ who went to the Raiders right in between going right back to the Saints.
I think that's apologies, Kent. Your Hunter Renfrow hate is stricken from the record.
No, you know what? Keep it in. I will say, I went to go look up if the NFL schedule was out, and I forgot that they only released the announcement to the announcement for the NFL schedule because I wanted to see when the Thursday night game was for the Raiders to see when MJ was going to score pick 6 for them. So whenever that gets, schedules out, put your bets in now, everything like that. Defensive touchdown.
That'd be a crazy hit if you could. There's definitely not a sportsbook out there that would even take him directly to score a touchdown. You definitely would have to do just defensive touchdown, but the odds on MJ Devonshire Thursday night pick 6 would be unreal.
I mean, it's a trend. He's done it for 3 straight years in a Thursday night game. Oh, not a pick 6. You got a pick in 3 straight Thursday games. Or 3 every year he's had a pick in a Thursday game, one of which was a pick six.
Thirsty Thursday.
Thirsty Thursday. Shit, where are my notes? And then wrapping up real quick, undrafted free agents, we had AJ Woods go to the Commanders, and then former Pitt Panther John Morgan went to New England. And hey, shout out to Keaton Slovis for going to Indianapolis with Matt Gonsalves. We had a couple of rookie camp invites. Marquez Williams going to the Steelers. Doesn't move very far. That's cool for him. Malcolm Epps and Jake Cradle are also being invited to the Indianapolis rookie camp. Shane Simon got an invite from the Bills and the Eagles, and defensive tackle Tyler Bentley got an invite with the Dolphins. Unfortunately, I could not find if Phil got a camp invite as a quarterback or a tight end, which makes me sad.
That's a Tebow invite if I ever heard of one. Which I guess doesn't really clear it up. Tebow on the Jaguars invite. Let me specify.
Tebow on the Patriots invite. Oh no, I forgot about him on the Jaguars. That's right. Oh fuck.
I think that's when he like fully leaned into. That was pre-baseball Tebow.
No, wasn't that post baseball, because that was when Urban was there. Right, that was an Urban thing. I think he went to TV after the Jaguars camp.
I don't remember.
Dude, I'm looking this up. Hold up.
I thought it was pre-baseball.
Tim Tebow, Wikipedia. Let's see.
You might be right. I don't know if it was Urban Meyer era, but that would make sense, I suppose.
He was on the 21 Jags. So that was the Urban Meyer year. No, professional baseball. Yeah, okay. So he was in the Mets minor leagues for 4 years, which is actually pretty fucking impressive. But to stick around for that long, he retired right before he went to the Jags camp. Okay. Next up. Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say he's this generation's Jordan. Retiring at his peak to pursue baseball. Coming back out.
He retired at his baseball peak to go pursue football again. Which is 4 years in the minors. Anything else on the draft? Congrats to all the guys who got drafted. Congrats to everyone who got an invite or signed as a UDFA. We love you. We appreciate you. Thank you for your time as a Pittsburgh Panther. Next up, spring game. Quick notes, because there wasn't a ton to talk about in the spring game. I will say I watched it, kind of trying to pay attention to the offense. Offense still a work in progress, but it looks a lot better than Frank's does. I don't know if you guys got a chance to sit down and watch this. I watched like the first half, a little bit of the third quarter.
I didn't get a chance to see any of it. So I would love your unfiltered, unbiased take.
Unbiased, you might have to put that one to the side, because I show my biases. I'm a biased human being, but we love that. We know that. But I don't know. I think the offense looked a lot better. I think they did a lot. Like, they did smarter things than Frank did. It was also sort of a bad representation of the offense, because they split up the O-lines. One team had 3 starters, the other had 2. Basically, both of them were working with like walk-on guys between just depth chart, not having your incoming freshmen, and injuries to guys like Ryan Jacoby. I did think that Nate is still the best quarterback on the roster. I think he has the best control of the ball of any of them. He still looks really fucking goofy when moving out of the pocket, but he did have this awesome throw where he was rolling out to his left, throws a fucking dime. I forget who didn't catch it, but the ball bounces right out of his hands. I think I yelled at a walk-on Twitter on my personal account. Never do it from the pod account, but I thought he looked really good. I think he has pretty good control of the offense for just spring install. I thought that Holstein looked pretty good. I think he's very clearly still recovering from a leg injury. You can see a little hitch, like a hitch or a twitch in his throwing motion. I think he was dealing with a hamstring injury in the spring, but so you could tell from the spring game that like he had solidified himself as QB2. They didn't play Vayer until either the third quarter or the very end of the second, and then they brought Nate back in for more snaps. He ends up throwing a touchdown, a real pretty deep ball, but you could tell just from the snap count that like Vayer was on his way out. But I did like what I saw. I think that Desmond Reed, the running back transfer from Western Carolina, can be a very big playmaker if he's in space. And I think they're going to use him like that, like on like running back arrow routes and out in the flats, just getting him on the outside where like he's small, but he's fast enough to be a mismatch on pretty much anyone but a corner. If you get him on a backer, it is just straight up a speed mismatch. I think the backup wide receiver that I'm going to be super high on is Zion Fowler-L. He was out of last year's class. I thought he looked really good. I think he has a lot of potential. The only thing is he needs to change his number. 23 is bad aura for a wide receiver.
I agree. Maybe he's just an athlete. Maybe he's not a wide receiver. He's just ATH on the depth chart.
I believe they have him as a wide receiver. I'm not going to lie.
I was trying to find a way that's not bad vibes, but yeah, throw 83 on there, young buck.
Even 23 for a corner would be like terrible vibes, I think. 23 is running backs. That's a running back number.
You said it's bad vibes for a corner?
I think that's a fine corner number.
I think it's fine for a corner, too. It's weird receiver for sure.
I'm going to think that one over because I realize I think 24 is great vibes for a corner. I don't know what it is about 23.
Yeah. 24, that's like Jalen Ramsey, bro.
That's Darrell Revis, man.
Oh, Darrell Revis. There you go.
Actually, wore 25 at Pitt, so that's my bad. But 24 in the NFL. As far as the defense goes, I couldn't really tell like who's going to be the starting corner, which I think is one of my biggest concerns for this upcoming year because I have no fucking clue who's going to play corner. But the biggest concern right now for me is the defensive line because they're super thin on interior guys with I think 3 or something like 3 or 4 or 5 guys leaving the program over the winter. They moved Bam Brima, 57, who played edge last year, and Nakai Johnson, 4. They're both big guys. They're both like 6'5", 270. So they have like the size to play interior, but they looked less natural playing at interior D-line. I don't even know how to really describe it without like having it in front of me, but they were almost playing D tackle like they were playing defensive edge. They weren't really rushing upfield as defensive linemen. They were still almost going up a yard and then sitting down like they're trying to contain, but you're in the B gap. You have to actually push the lineman back. I think that Brima did a better job of playing inside, but I don't know if they're going to keep Nakai Johnson inside because, drum roll please, we got to talk about some transfers. Thank you for the drum roll. The first one being defensive edge Deion Hayes leaving the program for Colorado. That is now 2 DNs going to Colorado in the same offseason. And I don't know how good Pitt's going to be next year. Their goal has to be to win more games than fucking Colorado.
Yeah, especially with some of the comments that came out from him on the way out, which I don't know if that was like really intentional or not. I think he kind of walked back and did an apology, but he had some not so great thoughts on Pitt's outlook.
So, funny that you mention it. I have him pulled up. Should we do some podcast reading?
Popcorn.
So, first off, this is just a lesson in talking to the media. Don't ever do this. Do not ever put anything like this on record. This is in the DMs between him and Christopher Carter, who's a beat writer for Pitt for the Post-Gazette. Chris asks him, hope you're well. Is there anything wrong that made you leave the team? And Deion Hayes says in his message, no, it's just that I don't believe we can win now. We have a young team. I believe we're going to win games, but I believe we are a development stage, and I just can't do that right now. That's word for word. That's why I kind of stumbled over it. Some typos. They should hang that screenshot over the entrance to the locker room. That is my take. That's my first take.
Some billboard material from a former player. Don't hate that idea. I do think it's funny that of all places he chose Colorado if he really wants to win right now.
Who had like 30 transfers out? Yeah.
Yeah, boy wanted the bag. Just be honest and say you want the bag. Don't say it's about winning. Say it's about the bag.
See, it's funny you mention that because he came out and said, I didn't mean that. I thought this was a private conversation, but I'm pretty sure you could tell that it was a bag thing because in his official notes app, as is customary these days, his notes app announcement. Oh, did he delete it? Oh, fuck, I think he deleted it. He had a post where he said that this game's a business. I'm like, okay, so you're going for a bag somewhere. You ended up in Colorado, which is very clear that he's there for a bag. It's a fucking. You know what? Should we look at Colorado's schedule right now, just to get this out of our system?
Little preview for conference previews.
Little preview for conference previews. I've started writing conference previews. Boy, there are a lot of bad teams in the ACC this year.
Present.
All right, can you tell me do any of you know who Colorado opens with this year at home?
Nope.
North Dakota State.
Hey.
That is not the team you want to play if you are a lower to mid-level Power 5 or Power 4 team now.
R.I.P. to Pac-4.
That's gonna take some getting used to. But
Who did they open with last year?
TCU.
That's right.
Because they got a ton of hype for being the national runner-up, even though TCU took a huge step back.
Yeah. It's all coming back to me.
There are a couple of pretty tough stretches on the schedule. They've got games at Nebraska, at Colorado State, at UCF in a 4-week stretch. They've got Kansas State coming to their house at Arizona. And they finish the season 3 weeks in a row with Utah coming to their house, going to Kansas, and then getting Ollie Gordon and the Oklahoma State Cowboys to finish the year. They could go 4-8 again. I'm just saying.
It'd be funny.
Dude, is that our first Wouldn't It Be Funny of the year?
Colorado's entire season.
Dude, what's the betting line in Colorado right now?
Probably 5.
Yeah, I'm going to say 5.5. Ooh. FanDuel's got it at 4.5 with plus odds on the under. That's your first official Wouldn't It Be Funny of the 2024 college football season. Colorado under 4.5 wins.
Got a little juice on it, too. I like it.
Got a little juice. Hell yeah. All right. Sorry for that digression. We'll go back to the transfers. The other sort of big transfers of note during the spring, quarterback Christian Bayer, they mentioned earlier, transferred to Georgia State. I have no ill will towards Christian. I hope he does the best. He's addicted for playing for teams with large cats as their mascot, going from the Nittany Lions to the Panthers to the other Panthers. Thank you for beating Louisville. The other big transfer out was linebacker Solomon DeShields, who started 11 games last year. He's transferred to Texas A&M, where I believe he's going to be a second string, which is very confusing to me. I think that's another bag chasing thing. Like notably, Dayon and Solomon DeShields had like restructured contracts with Alliance 412 over the offseason, and then they left anyway, which sucks. They're not going to fix that until the players are employees for the schools, but that's just my take. I could be wrong. But anyway, the thing was that Pitt had to get under 85 scholarships after the spring because they're over the limit. You can't be over the limit. The other guys who left are second-year defensive end Antonio Camone, second-year wide receiver Israel Polk, third-year tight end Cole Mitchell, redshirt senior O-lineman Dorian Ford, and redshirt senior cornerback Javonte Royal. That got them to 84. And then they picked up a cornerback from Kentucky, Jeremiah Anglin Jr., who Pitt originally recruited out of high school. Sort of recap everything. I do think that the quarterback room is still in a pretty good place with Yarnell and Holstein. Even Ty can probably get it done. Lanky, we did post the TikTok Ty video. Finally scored a touchdown in the spring game. Very excited to post that. Linebacker room is pretty deep. I think they can kind of take the hit with DeShields leaving. Where it gets a little dicey is the defensive line room, which kind of hinted at earlier. Because right now, it's thin right now. There's the depth chart. There are 5 freshmen coming in. Outside of that, 3 guys are transfers between the interior and exterior defensive line. You've got Nakai Johnson, Elliot Donald, Sean Fitzsimmons, Nick James, Bam Brema on the inside. At edge, though, that's where it gets a little dicey. You've got Nate Matlack, transfer from Kansas State, and Jimmy Scott there. And then it gets to a redshirt sophomore who's never seen playing time, and 3 freshmen. So I think the staff has to kind of do a balancing act of you probably want to bring in another guy in the portal, but also maybe move one of Brema or Nakai back to DN just because you're so thin at that position. Or you simply need guys to rotate. They play a 2 deep line in every game, and I don't think they're going to unless Sincere Edwards, who I think impressed in the spring game, is ready to play day one. I don't know if he's a realistic option to start. Starting that 2 deep, sorry. Then I still have no idea who's playing corner. That's my state of the roster spiel. I think the O-line, running back room, wide receivers, tight ends are in a good place, but it's the D-line and the corners, which is very concerning considering that those are 2 very important things in our doozy defense.
Well, the offense can't really be worse than last year, so that's sort of where my head's at.
I think about the best Pitt teams, since I've cared about the team. And the best teams in terms of win-loss or being fun are the teams with the better offenses and the worst defenses. Like Kent said, the offense really only go up. So maybe it's just one of those years where we score a lot of points. Maybe get another 70 to 60 game against Syracuse. That could be fun.
Yeah, we like those. I like those.
It's a lot more fun than losing, I don't know. You go back and look at some of the box scores we had this past year. Those were not fun games to lose.
Was Notre Dame 51-6? Or am I thinking?
Yeah, it probably could have been way worse than that too.
58. It was 58-7. It was worse than that. oh, that's because I was thinking of the fucking 2018 Penn State game in the fucking rain. That was a terrible game to be at. Holy shit. I don't know. Overall, offense looks good. Defense, they should probably figure it out, given the fact that it's Pat Narduzzi. There are some guys in the cornerback room like Battle, Gandy, and Harrison who have been here for a couple of years and should know the defense and should be able to slot in. I would assume you'll see Lynham, who's the transfer from Nebraska, start right away. I think safety is pretty much like a locked up deal between O'Brien, McMillan, and McIntyre. Maybe Angle gets some play at the corners. I do think that Nate Matlack, the Kansas State transfer, is going to be a guy on the D line, but with Nate Temple out for the year, even though I have my thoughts about Nate Temple, well known, but I like Sean Fitzsimmons on the interior. I think Jimmy Scott can be really good, actually, just because he's a New York guy. That's my bias right there. That's my bias showing. It's getting down to those guys at the DT2, DT3, DT4 the end fours where I'm like, maybe if it start a freshman. I don't know, but maybe we start Francis Braywu, who's sort of that Kalijah build, and he's fucking awesome. Could be the case.
Just find out if they're good earlier.
I subscribe to that thinking, but at the same time, that never ever ends up in more wins. Oh, it just means, you have a really bad D line for a year. So
Yeah.
Oh well. Anything else on the state of the fucking state of the Nard Union?
Got nothing. Throw it to Gavin.
They did throw it to Gavin in the spring game multiple times, which was a marked improvement from last year.
Do it more.
Again. It's like the miracle meme. Again.
Yeah.
See, that's how I know we're different, because I thought of immediately the fucking Star Wars meme where Kylo Ren's like, more, and you went right to Miracle.
I went to Miracle on Ice, yeah.
All right, so I guess to close out here, how many targets do you need Gavin Bartholomew to have week 1 to be happy?
10.
10 targets, okay.
I need a fucking like Megatron stat line.
More.
Throw it to him 20 times. I'll say it still needs to be more.
Any game I go to this year, I'm just going to make a sign in the offseason that just says throw it to Gavin. Just hold it up. People behind me get pissed.
Thinking about it, there's a good chance we could get that sign on TV this year.
Probably.
Because they're kind of in that perfect spot. I will not be disclosing where Sample Fi got their season tickets, but not publicly at least.
You got to pay for that.
You can contribute to our season ticket fund if you want to come say hi to us in the stadium.
Subscribe to the Patreon.
That's right. Folks, we're doing OnlyFans. That's the big announcement.
You heard it. Simon says, Simplify says, throw it to Gavin.
I think that's a podcast. I think we've reached the point of no return here. Sorry about the hiatus. We'll be back soon, hopefully with another big interview coming up. Working on that. I think we're going to have a volleyball episode once the schedule drops with good friend of the podcast, Dom Campbell. And with that, if you like the show, follow us on Twitter at Simplify Pod. You can find all of our socials there. You can find all of our subpar tweets there as well. Sometimes they're good ones. And yeah, we'll see you next time.
Hail to Pitt.
I don't know what to say. Normally I say whoever we're about to play. What's our next sporting event? Pitt baseball is pretty bad.
They're tough. That's Kent State.
Oh, what a conundrum for Kent.
Beat my state.
No.